here's one of my favorite lessons of the year. And this one you guys need to know for AP Calculus. Honestly, these come up. It's like you get a difficult derivative, difficult integral, or simple, or whatever it is. You get the calculus done and you're sitting there looking for your answer. And it's simply, they change the form of your answer using one of these rules. And it's actually these first three rules that we're going to be focused on for this lesson. And those are really the main three rules to remember. So you have your product rule. So what this means is that if you're multiplying two values on the inside, you could separate the logarithms using addition. This is not to be used backwards. You cannot do log of x times log of y and say that that equals log of x plus log of y. That does not work. Same thing, quotient rule, you can think about that. If you have dividing two different values on the inside, you can separate it with subtraction. And same idea, that does not mean if you have log of x divided by log of y that you could say that's log of x minus log of y. That does not work. It has to strictly be that they're multiplying on the inside or they're dividing on the inside. Can't be logs on the outside dividing or logs on the outside multiplying. And then you have your power rule, which is just simply if there's a number in the front, you can bring it up as a power for the inside. Or if there's a power going on for the inside value, you can bring that down to the front. So let me roll through some examples. I know I'm going to do these con examples in a second. These are really easy. This con assignment's really easy. But I want to show you a little more of something that's more difficult, something you'll see a little more like on the AP. So for example, let's just say that you have, and you want to expand log of, we'll go with x squared y. So on this one, we might as well, we'll go with this. It's kind of simple. So what we're going to start with is a multiplication. We can separate that as multiplication, and we'll have log of x squared plus log of y. So I'm using that product rule since there's multiplication on the inside. Now notice this one has a power. Now I'll go ahead and use the power rule. And that would be fully expanded. That would be it. Another example. Let's go with condense. And so if let's just say we had 3 log of x minus log of y. So here, let's start with the power rule. Since we're going backwards, let's do the power rule first. So we'll have log of x cubed minus log of y. And then I can condense that further by going log of x cubed, over y, all on the inside like that. So there we're trying to start expanded and go condensed. I do want to go over one more thing that you might see. If you see something like 1/2 log of xy, just because of the typical thing you might see in AP, what they'll do is they'll bring that 1/2 up, so log of xy to the 1/2. And then anything the 1/2 power, can't we rewrite that as a square root? So you might see some things like that, where they bring that up and then it just becomes a radical. That's the typical thing you'll see in those multiple choice answers like I was saying earlier on the AP. So let's look at these basic examples. So this would be log of 8/2, which is log of 4, and that's your answer. Really easy. Let's go ahead and let's look at another example. Man, I'm not liking the way that 4 looks over there. So this one's obviously power rule, so we'll bring up that log of 2 to the 3rd, which is log of 8. Then here, this is product rule, so that's log of 2 times 4, which is also log of 8. And there you have it. And notice I use parentheses sometimes I don't use parentheses. It's just like the trig functions. It's nice when they're there. It's a little better to have them there. Less likely to make mistakes, but sometimes just easier to write them without.